have to, I guess for me to find a way to complete yourself, and then anything is an addition, even if they're not your same sun sign. Some say that the best spiritual practice is any kind of relationship, whether it's good or bad. In fact, you might get more benefit out of a bad relationship.
Spiritual benefit.
Yeah.
Because you learn more about...
Because, exactly, you learn more about yourself and you know, those buttons.
And the meaning of life.
Like, well, it's sort of like this. It's not that you should go out and seek out an abusive relationship, which we all seem to
Disclaimers.
Well, but it's more that if...
Which we all seem to do. But we don't do it consciously.
Well, but consciously or unconsciously, the point being is that those buttons, if you have buttons that other people can push, if you are trying to avoid relationships or avoid situations so that you can live kind of a mediocre but very cushy life.
Safe.
You know,
right, you've got security.
It's an illusion, and you know, I mean, everything's an illusion, but it's a delusion. And not that we have to go play in heavy traffic, but.
But you know, speaking of that, DeAndrea and I did a show, and she was talking about how she said right now she doesn't care what the guy looks like. She's just looking for a good man, you know, because she's been through a lot. And I said, how come we were ever attracted to the bad guys, the bad boys, you know? Right. She didn't quite articulate it that way in high school, because she went to it. Why is that? That's what I was... Why are women attracted to bad boys?
I think it has to do with polarity. I think that the David Data work really addresses that eloquently. And that, you know, there's stage 1, stage 2. It's sort of like, okay, people think that because I have a lot of masculine energy that I should have sex with women, you know, but at a certain level, there's not enough polarity there. And in a lot of ways, sometimes I'm really attracted to men that are in touch with their feminine side, so that I don't have to have the masculine in me be so strong, because there's not as much of a protection involved. I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand that sometimes I use that personal bodyguard, you know, inside of me to just kind of keep the victors at bay. You know, I mean, like those guys that are really...
The victors. Who we're expecting at any moment here.
Well, this is kind of shorthand for this friend of Paula's that's been hitting on me in just kind of a hilarious way, but you know, the deflector shields just go right up, and I can't even let him in to be friends with him in a way, because I feel like if I let down my guard just a little bit, that, you know, he'll be, you know, passive.
No, he's sort of playing. That's yeah, you know.
We have fun.
Yeah, we have fun.
But
and you call him on it. You call him on it. I mean, you know,
big
we because we had this no-show, Victor wanted to be over there for the famous no-show person who we might get one of these days. And Molly said, "No, Victor, your energy is so big, and how did you put it? Yeah, even if you won't get in front of the camera.
No, even if he's not in front of the camera.
Even if he's not in front, yeah.
No, he sucks all the Shakti out. You know, we build up all this beautiful Shakti, and he comes in vacuum.
Anyway.
And Victor's a great guy, but
yeah.
So are we complete on the?
Yeah, we're into another show.
Okay.
I'll just edit this.
There was another.
No. Before we let go of masculine and feminine energies, it seems as we want to actualize our soul, which split male into female, and that's why the Ramtha School of Enlightenment is so interesting, because it talks about soulmate knowledge. As we start to attract our soulmate to us, which even Ramtha says starts by loving ourself, because it's ourself that we're looking for. But because we don't love ourself, we keep that possibility even in this manifestation level of density, and that experience doesn't happen. But prior to that experience even happening, just by loving yourself, you're complete. You're complete. And it seems in that process you start to balance your own male-female energies. So you can see men who are very in touch with their feminine, and they don't have to be gay, have to express it in a sexual way, but you can see they have developed their feminine, they're in touch with it. They're very powerful people, you know. So likewise, women in touch with their masculine, they have a lot of power.
Well, I think that for me, when it becomes an issue is when I use it to keep people out. And I think that real strength doesn't rely on having the defenses up. So that for me to cultivate the feminine energy is by being able to be myself without all that deflection. And I think that that's what people react to.
But so then what you're doing is you're defining masculine energy as that kind of strong, protective, you know, protect the village kind of thing. Go out and keep the enemies away. That in a certain way, the whole flirting and thing is a kind of a violation of space, and then a desire for space to be violated.
I think violate is a little strong.
It's a strong word, but there is.
David uses ravished, which,
right.
Which I think
is it more socially?
Jazz said ravaged by mistake.
Ravaged.
Women want to be ravaged.
Savaged.
Excuse me, I think ravished is the word.
Ravaged.
there is kind of a fine line
between a classical education
and being ravished is sexy, whereas being ravaged is abusive.
Right.
And it's I think that it has to do more with a man has to hold his center, you know, and that women are attracted to someone that really can maintain that focus. That it's hard to say.
The men that are most attractive to women are men who can be silent and strong and immovable, while all of the Shakti and the display of energy and being in the moment is swirling around them. And I know that's true for me. If I find somebody that can handle all that feminine energy, you know, like, I guess in your case, I think it's very feminine to forget words to songs, you know, from our last show. You're just so in the moment. So if you've got a strong masculine presence that can sort of ground that and feed you the words or show you, then the show can go on, you know?
My ex-husband used to do that.
Yeah? Yeah. Well, that's a nice thing.
And that's why I was attracted to him, because he had a very strong manifesting energy. And when it was working, I mean, we had a very tempestuous but creative, productive relationship.
Yeah.
And when he buckled in a way, because he didn't have enough grounding,
right,
or foundation,
right,
to support the entire family. I mean, we had my brother, my cousins. You know, we were all working together, and I don't know what happened.
You know, along those lines of a man not being able to come up to almost unlimited energy that women can tap into, I think this is where the masters come along, because when the masters send a blessing to a male body as opposed to a female body, it's received in a different way. So my experience, because I've had a lot of relationships with men who are usually spiritually inclined, so I've watched the times that I was with them when we were more in the presence of masters, and the times I was with them when we were less in the presence of masters. And in all cases, the presence of the master would make our relationship stronger, you know. But I can also see how it's a fine dance, just like ravaged and ravaged and ravished. With the master, you can also have relationships destroyed because of a narrow interpretation of the energy that, oh, sex is bad and meditation is good, and I'm not going to have anything to do with sex and with women. And in that case, I call that more of a less developed appreciation of the Master's energy, where they just want to just sit at the feet and just, you know, just feel the energy that way. Soak it up, yeah. But instead of kind of like investing it, say, let me explore this energy. What is it like to have this awareness of this expansion along with a relationship, or along exactly with sex? You know, people know what it's like to say mantras quietly. Well, I remember coming back from India once, making love to Alan, and just saying the mantras out loud, and it was really, really a different experience, powerful. And the closest it can come to is, you know, right now, my lover is the sun. You know, the morning sun comes up, and to say the sun mantras and to just feel, you know, the kundalini shake or reverberate, that's an extraordinary gift, or of age. That's the other side. Like when the guy said my looks have gone south because I'm older, the benefit is each time of your life offers you different opportunities. And if I was sitting down when I was 22 years old, you know, because sometimes I sneak my top off and greet the morning sun, I couldn't do that at 22 years old. I would have attracted a lot more attention, and I couldn't have handled it. I couldn't have taken it. But because I realized time is so precious, and being in Manhattan is such a wonderful opportunity, and there's huge nature here in Manhattan, you can work with time-honored yogic processes, and you can develop balance with the 5 elements. And I am so glad I've had the masters I've had the relationships I've had, because even with mantras, it's kind of like, it's a type of a relationship.
So what do you think about, you know, now that your looks have gone south, you know, how has that shifted things?
Well, I think I just explained that. I have other options. But I think beauty is an important thing. I think I tend to go for horrific messages, you know, sex, slavery, and abusiveness.
Okay, you did sort of explain it, but what are the benefits? Oh, I see. So you can take off your top and you're not worried about getting mobbed.
Yeah.
Is that the only?
Right.
Is that the only?
It's
thing?
not. No, that's not the only thing. But it's like I'm saying, it's important, and this is why I want to put more attention on production and on editing. It's important when you're giving a message, like say, in May, it was signed into law that any dissent against the administration about the war means you can be arrested. So that means we have the laws already in place. They just haven't been enforced yet, to start hauling people off to prisons, to concentration camps. And apparently I haven't seen them with my own eyeballs, but you know, I'm certainly up for an excursion to one of these concentration camps that are being built.
But only they may take you away.
Well, no, but I'm not afraid about that, because I feel everybody is trying the best they can. I feel even in the case of those people at Homeland Security who might be sort of containing certain websites and even the information I give out, I feel for all of those people who are trying to contain it, there's just as many who are trying to go for the freedom and the transparency. So I feel, and that's probably why I do tune into nature when I can, because you're never going to overcome nature. There's no law that you're going to be able to make, no constitution that's ever going to be able to overcome nature.
I just read in that book that when you can command on nature is when you can become one with nature.
Right. Which book is that book?
The one that Dunya...
Oh, right.
She said that Shirdi Baba, who is up here, well,
right.
I can't see him.
Because they have to put the swastika in, you don't want to go there.
But she was saying what's interesting is that you can command on nature when you...
You want me to get the book?
No.
No, okay.
It's the message...
But let me show... I should show Shirdi, right?
Okay.
And you want to just... Okay, go on.
Well, but then I have to explain who he is and
okay.
To me, it's not important.
The mystery saint.
Of who he is. It's more important that because there's a lot of people besides just Shirdi Baba that have become so much, I don't know, in tune with nature. I guess,
yeah.
That they have become So therefore they can command on Mother Divine.
But they keep their intent. They don't lose their intent.
Right, but they've lost their personality.
Right.
There's no individual left per se.
Right.
And so when you get to that point, that's when you can command on nature, supposedly.
Right.
Because you don't have your own agenda, I think, at that point.
But are you complete on the looks gone south stuff?
I was complete before we started.
Okay. No, I was just encouraging Molly because she said some comments, and I said, why don't you make some comment about that? That when you were younger, you were actually meaner, snarkier. Okay. And, yeah, but that, you know, probably blasting caps, that guy who made the comment, if you put your giraffe ears on, a lot of times when you hear abusive language or things that aren't so flattering,
it means that he's lost his looks.
It means there's something is, well, I don't know if he's lost his looks, but something is disturbing people. And if you poke around a little and you find out what it is, I've gotten subscribers from that, people who've just admired how I've put the effort forth.
Now, he was saying you lost your looks of the sex slavery?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's 8 years.
Hot. You look pretty hot.
In sex slavery, yeah, but that's 7 years ago. Yeah. No, that was some time
back. I think she can get them back, but you know, this is just an ongoing discussion.
Well, you can get them back, but there's also something to be said for honoring exactly the moment and the body and the situation you're in now. For example, you can cognize the Vedas in Lake Tahoe, but does that mean, is that the ideal thing to do? Because maybe a rishi or a highly developed person who could cognize the Vedas, if you put them in Lake Tahoe, maybe they're better off, you know, in Khajuraho or in even worse in Jerusalem, or some of, well, when the bombings go on and you've got, you know, maybe in the refugee camps, maybe some of these extraordinary souls shouldn't be rewriting the Vedas, or apparently the Vedas are eternal, so you're not going to get a new Veda, you're going to get the same old knowledge. So maybe, well, so maybe
you're
keep them.
You're always going to get a different flavor as it comes through.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, instead of even focusing on that, maybe exactly where they're at is exactly where they should be. So maybe with the body being aged, that's exactly the most beautiful tool that you could have for your soul to unfold.
So then what's the point of, okay, this is the other topic that we were going to get into. So then what's the point of all this create your own reality stuff? And it seems to me that this feeds into exactly what I was saying, is that people are constantly looking for ways of creating what they want as opposed to accepting what they need.
Right.
And to me, it seems to me that whenever you go to one of these courses, even Rantha, and they say, well, you know, you have to phrase it differently, and you're obviously not doing the right thing, as if, and I think that there is a science to manifestation.
You mean you're not doing the right thing because you're not going, I want a Toyota, poof, and then the Toyota appears.
No, but see, they always say, you never say I want.
Well, whatever.
Then all you get is you manifest the
wanting.
Want for the type
right.
Toyota.
Okay.
I think that
I totally.
I have a Toyota, you know,
right.
and proof it appears on the street.
Right.
You know, and not to say that these things don't manifest, but I think that there's a certain blame factor. I don't know if that's the right word. If you're not creating your reality the way, if you're not happy with the reality that you've created, that somehow you're doing something wrong, and
well, but you know, Molly, here's the thing. If we have a law that has the potential to turn this into a police state, right. The law is in place, but it hasn't been enforced yet.
Right.
So how many people can go out and start to change that reality? Or how many people say, we need the experience of a police state? Now, I would have problems with people who would too easily acquiesce to saying now we should explore the potentials of a police state, because I think that's an old reality. I think it's been done. It was done in Nazi Germany, it was done before, it was done in Russia, it was done. So I'm thinking, it's not that I'm afraid of that, like I'm saying with my looks, that I didn't want to feel that I have to be eternally 25. But I have
mind control, you could do it.
I know, but
if
I
you'd be willing
but
to
I also
subject
but I
yourself to
also
government mind control, then you too could be 25.
right. And I thought that was an interesting concept, but I've grown to question a lot of the Kathy O'Brien material, and I think that by riveting on eternally looking like 25 is to miss the point of the gloriousness of the flip side of the knowledge of the mind control, which is that you can be sort of entrained, even entrained isn't a good word, but you can be given the vision of a much loftier style of functioning that can indeed say, I have the Toyota, you know, I have the free society, you know, I have the people who tried to perpetrate the police state as my close friends. And because they're my close friends and I share this type of freedom, they're understanding a wider reality, precisely because of connection to the very people they felt they had to do genocide on, the undesirables, because of facilitating this connection of empathy.
You make it sound like you're an oligarch, and you're not.
Well, by taking the first step to say not delete bad comments, you know, when a lot of people want to take those, I'll be an oligarchy, or the oligarchy of the non-deleters, you know, because it's I mean, you know, I haven't yet heard out there in YouTube land anybody making a comment about not deleting comments and the importance of being transparent. I mean, God knows if I'm flooded with 50 comments on one that all says the same thing, and I mean, like, if one seems to be a frivolous comment, I go into their website, see where they're at, what are their favorites, what do they collect, and I ask them to say, well, you know, if you want to have hotslickchicks.com up on my website, what exactly does hotslickchicks.com have to do with what Kathy O'Brien said? You know, I try to engage them, and if I never hear from them, well, people at least see. No, it's people leave that in a comment. What they're doing is they're looking for the hits, and they're trying to get traffic to their porno website. But since I'm trying to be open-minded to say, well, really, what is porno? Well, you know, let people have a crack at it. And after all, as you said, I put a provocative title up, Sex, Slavery in the White House. So I made my bed, I'm going to lie in it. So if I
did you post the hot slick chicks?
They didn't give me a posting, Molly. They just said, if you want to see hot chicks, go to this site. So I just kept that comment in there. I mean, there's some people that put their YouTube postings up and then they just walk away from it. They don't answer their comments. Right. And in the hopes of those types of postings, these people never feel that they'll have a magnanimous poster like me that will keep their comments up there. So they figure somebody won't be looking at it and they'll keep hotslickchicksup.com.
I guess.
You know, that's how that works.
But back to, I mean,
let's go more into beauty, though.
Beauty? I thought we covered beauty.
well,
I was thinking
if you could get,
of manifesting what you want versus accepting what you need.
Right.
I mean,
right.
You don't see that people often, sort of chant for a Buick, and then, like, what I love is
chant for a Buick.
Well, that's the Nichiren Daishonin Buddhist, Amway to enlightenment.
Oh no, I didn't know Buick.
Nishio Rengekei or whatever. I can't remember.
And you get a Buick?
Well, we call it chant for a Buick because they're really into
putting their requests in.
Chanting for what you want, And what I love about Shirdi Baba is he said, I would love it if people, instead of asking me what they want, accepting what I have to give them, because he sees a higher purpose for them,
right,
and that it's so easy to
right,
go for the sort of, I don't know, not the lowest common denominator, but not really knowing what your highest possibility is.
Right.
Because, and so therefore, if you're trying to manifest certain things in your life, then that's maybe not the best place to put your energy.
Maybe the chanting means that as you're chanting for your Buick, the very process of chanting, you're starting to think about the chanter. You're starting to reflect more on yourself. And there's a possibility that at the end of the day you don't want the Buick. And if you don't want the Buick, you probably won't get it. And the other possibility is you can stay in that desire mode where you didn't learn much about yourself and you didn't get the
No,
Buick.
when you do get the Buick. See, because, okay,
You mean, but I think your God within operates in such a way that you're not going to be turned into a glutton. I don't think the great work is about becoming a glutton, because I don't think it works. I think your God has it programmed that it won't, because it knows your, but for a while, not consistently.
I used to do it extremely consistently. I mean, some
Tell people what you used to do.
Well, some boyfriend once said to me, "You always get what you want," and I think I was so horrified that he saw me as sort of an opportunist, or that I was such a manipulator, that I kind of freaked out and backed off. And then not only did I not get what I wanted, but nobody gave me any credit for not getting what I wanted.
You mean you were still seen as a manipulator?
No, but it was just that.
What would credit look like?
Aren't you such a nice person, or humble, or holier than thou? You know what I mean?
I wanted to be holier than thou.
So then I was like, well, now I'm unhappy, and I'm not getting what I want, and nobody loves me. I'm not getting love either. And so I went back to trying to get what I want, and now the magic works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. And would you like a glass of water?
No, I'm okay.
I think that there's another caveat which is hard to integrate into this whole manifestation thing is, I am, and you make your declaration, and then afterwards you say, as the highest thing that could possibly be for my being. But to me that kind of dampens the affirmation.
Oh, because you're like mistrusting yourself?
No, it's more that it's not as